both our regular listeners will know that it's usually this time of the year when we speak to Dana from the Borough Breakdown. But after everything that happened to Middlesbrough last year and everything that happened to England this summer, Dana has gone for a lie down in a dark room, and we're joined by her colleague Johnny from the Borough Breakdown. Very good of you to spend your time with us this afternoon, mate. Borough last season, a team that managed to lose a playoff semi-final and a playoff final in the same week. On a sort of scale of one to Dana, like, how, are you over it? Like, how are you feeling as we sit here in the first week of August?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the season starting again. That week of losing the playoff semi-final and then the week of being reinstated and then going to a playoff final was just a whirlwind of a season, really. Yeah, it was like the tip of the iceberg of what happened because the Edwards like saga, Spygate, transfers here and there. It was a very tiring and emotional season. But for me, when Ollie McBurney scored. I just laughed, and I just laughed and just went, "Oh God, this is just like such a typical Borough way of ending a season." Everyone was just knackered. Everyone was just a bit like, "I'm just so done with it." But yeah, it's been quite nice to have a little bit of a break, even though England haven't really helped themselves either. Watching that Argentina game, and I was just going, "Oh no, I've seen this game over and over again," and you're probably the same, Clive.
The thing that you hired Tuchel to avoid playing out right in front of you. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was tiresome. But Borough, like even before we got to the playoffs last year, I remember getting annihilated by Borough at Loftus Road.
Mm.
And I think you beat Sheffield United away around that time as well. And I just thought this is the best team in the league. I think you're in the top two for something like 200 days last year. And then weirdly, straight after that QPR game, I mean, there were some ridiculous things that happened, like the late penalty at Ipswich that I still fume about, and I don't even care about Middlesbrough. But you also started doing things like losing to Charlton at home, losing to Portsmouth at home, and stuff like that. So it did go like slightly awry last year, even before Southampton got the long, telescopes out. Like what happened there?
Yeah, I would say we were like the 99% men really. I think we did everything right for long periods and you could watch us from build up, you could watch us in possession, out of possession, you're pressing teams, suffocating them, you're creating chances, but we were 99% men because our strikers couldn't score. Big amount of chances as well. And then in the other end, we weren't giving many chances away and conceding them. And I think they were the difference between Borough going up and staying in the Championship last season. And on top of that as well, like the squad depth as well. If we didn't have runners in behind, we weren't physical enough up top because as soon as Strelic came off, as you probably seen in the playoff final, the ball just kept coming back and kept coming back, and we couldn't really get in behind teams. And it's really nice this summer to see that we've addressed not just probably the goalkeeper situation, which is going to be happening the next few days, but the striker situation and also set pieces as well. Because when teams did sit in and we couldn't break them down as much, we didn't have those set pieces to break the deadlock, and we've done that as well with Baralta. But yeah, for Borough, it was just so nearly moments, and then over time you could see games, and like I was saying around the Argentina game, you can see a game, and you know how a game materializes where you go, "Oh God, we're not breaking the deadlock. Oh, these are going to get a chance." And next thing you know, something just happens, and Borough are behind, and they've lost the game, and you were just like, that was kind of like the end of the demise, really. As soon as it hit February, you were just like, "Oh, we've just died a death." But yeah, 99% men, and we've addressed it in the summer, and hopefully we can go again this year.
Yeah, Tommy Conway just absolutely battered Southampton in that first leg, and Tommy Conway just found every different way to hit every part of the goal apart from the back of the net. And then you go to the final, Solbrin, nothing to do all day. First thing he has to do, drops it straight on Ollie McBurney's toe, basically sort of sums the whole fundamental flaw with that Borough team up. So tell us about the summer business. Obviously, we've seen that you've spent some serious whack on Will Lancashire, which probably worth a punt given how he did in a poor Oxford team last year. I haven't actually heard about that. I knew you would be signing a goalkeeper, but it sounds like that's imminent. So tell us about the summer business and what you make of it so far.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it, Clive. I'm really, really happy with it. I still think there's more to come. It has to. I think when you look at Middlesbrough's depth in midfield, it's just Morris, and Miles Peter Harris, and you look at Kante and McCabe and go, okay, maybe you could try and get one more and improve things further. But I think with Borough this year, you're always going to say, well, what's the Hackney tax? What's being affected by that? Because Hackney was so good about last year with Middlesbrough. He'd help drive through the thirds, play that ball through, but getting behind and create a chance. But how are we going to change it this year? What's going to happen? I don't think our build up is going to change too much. I think you'll still see that 3-1 or 3-2 because that midfield pairing's connected and everything. But I think Borough will become more direct in that build up this year. Will Lancashire is really pivotal to that because if Borough do break through that 3-1, that early build up and press, go straight through to Lancashire, that nice little layoff into McGree, and then you've got runners in behind. Now you have Tommy Conway on one side, Kyle Joseph on the other, and that for me allows Borough to become a little bit more quicker and allows themselves to dictate the pace in games. Whereas last year you would just horseshoe it in certain periods because you didn't have the profile of player to get in behind teams who when they were sitting a little bit deeper. But for business aspect of it, Vitek is close, the goalkeeper from is a Vitek. I always pronounce his name wrong, but we will address it another time. Um,
No, I mean
but
that would be a great signing because
yeah,
like I think he was like +8, wasn't he, on the
mm,
expected goals at Bristol City last year. We noticed that because Joe Walsh at our place was -8. We're like, for the sake of having a better lone goalkeeper, there's a 16 goal swing there. So if you get that over the line, that could be a bit of a game changer.
100%. Because Solbrin was the same. Like, we're not with Wall Street. He was a -5, -6, and you're going, oh God, you don't really do much either in games. And you could see as the season was going on, that confidence was dipping, mistakes were materializing more and more and more. So we had to address it in the summer. We had to. But I think if you look further out at Borough's business, I think Berhalter is a fantastic signing for 900,000 rising to 2 million. I think that's unbelievable business. Kyle Joseph is good for that out of possession and good as an alternative striker to what we've got. But also Max Arston, obviously set to be announced, but someone who we've looked at for 3, 4, 5 seasons, and it's finally starting to materialize. And he's a player who is a left back. Well, we see him as a left back, but you'll probably see him if you look at Middlesbrough Twitter in about 4 or 5 games time, Clive. You'll go, or we'll see. Why can't Max Halfton not defend? Because he'll just be exposed. But yeah, we'll see some of that. But yeah, overall, I think Boris Business has just been really, really good. They've addressed all those key areas, and there's definitely more to come.
Are we expecting Morgan Whittaker to move on for some coin? I've seen West Ham, which feels like a sort of typical panicky parachute payment sort of. He scored goals last year. Here's 12 million quid. Is that? I noticed you didn't sort of name him in your lineup there.
Yeah, I think Morgan will leave us. It's not like he's not good enough. I just think he is a player that may feel a bit underappreciated probably at Borough, I would say, because he had that spell prior to his goal run where
Yeah.
Borough fans were getting on his back, and then he had this massive turnaround in form. But then, admittedly, I thought his playoff performances were really poor, and I think Borough, well, oh, sorry, opposition teams targeted Whitaker and exposed Britain even more. And it's like, well, is he going to fit in this Hellberg side? And if you can get some money for him, would you probably get rid of him? Yeah, I would probably say you would. And it wouldn't shock me if he did move on before the end of the summer transfer window. But if he stays around, you've still got an asset there who can come up with moments that might change games.
If he could piss off out of the championship, that would be amazing because he loves a goal against QPR. So that I would be happy about that. Kim Hellberg, just Uber credit in the bank for last year. No sort of concerns about the way it dackered off at the end.
No, I don't think so. I think he has a lot of credit in the bank. I think he's the gem in all of it. I think he brings everything together. I think his way of playing, his principles of that relationism, and how players can rotate around the pitch, and it all comes together. I just love it. I really do love it. It would take a lot for me to go, this probably isn't working anymore. I think he is pivotal to our success this year, 100%.
I really like him as well, and I really like watching Borough when they're on. So I hope it goes right this year. I tipped Borough in the top four year after year after year after year with Warnock, with Wilder, with Carrick, and then last year completely lost faith and were like, I'm sick of this lot. I think I put you 14th. So obviously you got to the playoff final. I have faith again this year and I'm tipping you really high. So if we put your neck on the block, how do you think Borough are going to go league position wise this year?
You know, to be fair, Clive, last year I did exactly the same as you. I was like 14th. Forget it. You know, Rob Edwards, no
Yeah.
chance. See, after like I remember watching the first game against Swansea and I went, I can't watch this for a year. Can't do this. Uh, 1-1 nil as well, which was even worse. But I think, oh God, position. I would love top eight, but yeah, I'll go fifth. I'll go fifth this year. I'll go fifth.
Yeah, I'm thinking similar, but I'm not a fan. The more I'm doing these previews, the more I'm not a fan of any of the relegated teams this year. I think they're all coming down in
Mm.
a right state, which I think for clubs like Middlesbrough, your friends at Southampton, Norwich, bit of a dark horse. I think could be a really, really good year to get good from that middle pack. So hopefully, for your sake, Middlesbrough are one of those. Johnny, thanks so much for your time and your input. Looking forward to speaking to Borough Breakdown as the season goes on. As always, fantastic podcast and Twitter feed and all the rest of it. You guys should absolutely check it out. I always listen to your podcast after you've played QPR, even though we've usually got our ass handed to us. So it must be decent content if I'm willing to do that. So we appreciate your time and yeah, look forward to speaking to you in September, right? I think you're our one top 10 side in our opening sort of 6 to 8 games. So
Oh, what's
we will
that?
catch up, I'm sure, in September.
Yeah, speak to you soon, Clive. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course, mate.